Hello, everyone. Today I am going to be showing and reviewing some inks that I got from Wish. Wish is known as like a very cheap way of getting any item. It seems like there's so much stuff on there. And I figured why not try some inks. So I purchased these inks. I purchased a black ink and a green ink from the same company without doing any research. They were, I think, like $5 each or something, which is pretty cheap for ink. I just took a chance thinking, maybe it's a gem. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. And then after I received the ink, I haven't tested them out or anything yet. This will be the first time that I've drawn with them or done anything like that. But after I got them, I decided to do some light research to see, I don't know, maybe they're a knockoff of a real company, or I don't know. I just, looked up to see what they were, I guess. And what I found, it was very minimal research, but what I found seemed pretty positive. It seemed like, these inks were, other people had similar thoughts. They were skeptical at first, but after using them, they realized that they, maybe were not so bad, or at least worth the price. A couple dollars is, no big deal. So I guess let's just get right into it. This is my little box of inks. I don't have very many. I have small bottles. I guess I can go through these sometime if I want to, or if you guys want me to. So this is the two inks I got. Karkos is the brand, I guess. Black and green. They have a bunch of other colors. I decided to go with black because I don't have a black ink yet. I have a purpley color, which is very close to black. It's very dark, but it's not black. And then I went with green. I don't really know why I went with green, but I decided to go with green. So that's the story that I'm going to stick with. Green just caught my eye the most, I guess. So we'll go with the black first. I have my completely cleaned TWSBI Go here, demonstrator pen. This is the old reliable of fountain pens for me, I guess. I just cleaned it out, so there's still a little bit of water in there, but that's no big deal. It won't really affect anything, especially with the black ink. So I guess let's just let's fill it up. I will fill it up, and I'll also do a drawing with each ink in my mini sketchbook just to keep it quick. Okay, this is a very small hole. I'm going to try to not put very much ink in it because I'm just going to switch it out anyway for the green ink. That should be good. Ooh. Be interesting because I haven't drawn with the black ink yet. You can see this is the purple ink on this paper towel. It's very dark, but you can tell that there's some purple in there. And that is black. Hopefully these don't damage my fountain pens, I guess. My research didn't yield me to think that they would damage any fountain pens. Seemed pretty standard ink, I suppose. Pretty standard stuff. So it's filled up. It's acting like normal ink in there, I guess. I did notice that my purple ink, it's diamine, scribble purple. Diamine is the color, and that tends to stick a little bit inside the reservoir. I guess it's a little bit thicker of an ink. But yeah, this seems to be moving around well in there. I don't envision any issues. See if I can clean this off a little bit better. I hate the ink. Let's see. I hate when the ink sits on top of the nib like that, but sometimes it just is impossible to get off. I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong or whatever, but it annoys me, so I try. It does have a pretty strong smell, I'll say that. I mean, ink smells, but this just feels a little bit stronger for some reason. I don't know. Put that away. Put back on. I tend to underfill my pens in general because I like the process of filling them up. So I just put a little less ink in there. I mean, I don't fill up the reservoir and I even get close, maybe like halfway, a little bit less, because I like filling them up often and cleaning them out. So this is kind of normal, I guess. All right, let's get the mini sketchbook. I did one video of a drawing in this sketchbook. I don't know. I like to feels a little bit less serious for me. Probably speed up this part of the drawing just because it'll be quick, but I don't know how much commentary I can give, to be honest. Especially when I'm drawing. But it'll just be a quick drawing, so just get right into it with this black ink, and I will inform you when I'm done how I feel about the ink, at least in its prime, first usage. Okay, so you're done. Very small, very simple drawing. I just kind of smeared it. Oops. So I really wanted a lot of dark black areas in this drawing. Looks like I might have smudged this little part right here a little bit. I really wanted to see how dark this black can be. I didn't layer it or anything like that, but let's see. So I mean, it's black. It's a black ink. I smudged it, but this paper is also, these little spots right here where it looks kind of like cloudy almost around it. That's the paper. It's not the ink. It's not the pen. I didn't smudge that part. It's just this paper isn't really great for ink. This ink pens, probably mainly for pencils, which is fine. As you can see, like on this drawing, it does bleed. I mean, it didn't bleed onto this page, but you can see through it. This ink bled a little bit in some spots, but I mean, that's again, it's just the paper. But I actually really like this ink. I like how black it is. It behaves like any other ink, I would say. There's nothing, it doesn't feel cheap coming out of the pen. It didn't clog up the pen. It worked right away. It flowed fine. It had good ink flow. I suppose that's probably mostly the pen, but I mean, there are thick inks that clog up pens all the time. So I mean, yeah, it works well as an ink. I like it a lot, actually, as a black ink. So that's a drawing. Really simple, again, just mainly to test out the pen. I didn't even test it out on scrap paper or anything like that. I just went right into drawing. So I mean, that's what this black ink can do. It looks really good. I don't know how you would be able to tell this ink from any other ink. If you could go down to a pen shop and buy some ink, I don't know how you'd be able to tell the difference if you didn't know which ink you had. It's a black ink. Ink is ink at the end of the day, probably. So now I will go clean out my pen, fill it up with the green ink, do the same thing with the green ink. We'll see maybe if that behaves the same or if it's any different, any worse, any better. We'll see. So see you in a few. Okay. Cleaned out pen. Ink cleaned out fine, cleaned out great. It was black. You can see there's no residue in there or anything. A little bit of water just like last time, but I mean it's there's no gunk in there. There's no leftover ink gunk. So got the green ink here. I'll probably test this one out before I draw in the book, because there could still be a little bit of black ink in the nib assembly, so I wouldn't want to judge the green ink off of if there's some black ink coming out. So I'll just test it out on a scratch piece of paper. I'm not sure if I'm expecting this ink to be light green or dark green or medium green. I don't know. I don't remember what it looked like on the picture. So I guess we'll see. That looks kind of emerald green maybe. I like that color. Maybe that's why I picked it. Get out the paper towel. Yeah, look at that. That's maybe like a Kelly green. I like that color. Looking forward to using it, seeing what it looks like on paper. Doesn't look like there's much black ink coming out with it, so that's cool. Cover up the ink. Have not had an ink spill yet, and I don't want to have one, so yeah, that is a nice color for sure. Guess I know how to pick inks, huh? Hopefully it performs as well as the black ink. Put that away, and then I'll just grab here a post-it note. It's pink. Hopefully that doesn't impact the color. I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Yeah, it definitely will. It's writing right away. Maybe it looks a little bit watered down. I'm not sure. Definitely not getting the color on the pink, but I guess I wasn't really expecting it. Hopefully it looks alright in the book. Get that out of the way. Hopefully I won't smudge this one. Ideally I don't, but we all know how it goes. Okay, back to the drawing. I will probably speed this up again. So yeah, I'll let you know how it goes afterwards. Okay, so this is drawing number 2. Again, very quick. I really just kind of went with it with this one. because I don't like how this ink performs, I guess. I mean, it works good. I mean, it works good. I think it's just the color that makes the drawing just look, you can see all these little, smudgy, weird marks. And that's what I don't like. It makes the drawing look sloppy. I guess if you want it to look sloppy, then that's okay. This wasn't really, crisp and clean for sure. But I guess I just don't like these little marks, these little smudges. It's kind of darker in these areas. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't think that's the ink's fault, because I have this this TWSBI ink that's orange, very bright orange, and it does the same thing. It does the same thing when drawing, when filling in spaces like this. It does that. It just, for some reason, it just doesn't even out well. You can see the darker spots, the lighter spots, and for drawing, not the best. But for writing, I'd say if you're just writing, if you journal, if you write letters, then this ink is great. This ink is great for that. That's what I use my orange TWSBI ink for. I use that for writing. I don't really draw with it much. But, I mean, it's personal preference at the end of the day. But I think for writing, I would recommend this ink for sure. For drawing, not so much. And that probably will go for any of this Karkos brand ink. The black, I think there was a purple, the blue. The darker colors will probably yield better if you're drawing, and the lighter colors will be better if you're writing. I don't think these perform poorly at all as inks, but I think if you want them for drawing, I would go with the darker inks. If you want them for writing, I would go with the lighter inks. That's probably a good general rule when deciding, which ink to purchase. If you're going to write with it, if you're looking for an ink to write with, if you're looking for an ink to draw with, the darker inks are going to yield better results for drawing. Obviously, you can just tell, even though I went equally as quick, maybe not as sketchy, I guess, but you can just tell, all this stuff, it looks inconsistent, I guess. I think the camera picks it up, yeah, especially once I put it closer. You can see how inconsistent all that looks. And that's not all the paper, because you can, if you look on this one, those marks are kind of on the edge of the ink, not really in the middle. Here, you can see it's all in the middle, all the dark color. It just the light inks just don't perform well. Maybe it is the paper, I don't know. I've experienced this on other paper, though, with my my orange TWSBI inks, so I would say I would definitely recommend the black ink for drawing and the green ink for writing, which is probably what I'll use it for. I'll probably just use the green ink for writing, put it in my my Noodler's AHAB, which is what I use to write with, because of the flex nib. I like writing with the flex nib. I like drawing with the non-flexible nib. I guess you call it a stiff nib. This is it's just a fine nib. I prefer this for drawing. So I'll probably do the black in the TWSBI Go and the green in the Noodler's AHAB. Right now I have the orange in the Noodler's AHAB because it's a writing ink. So I guess, let's see. I guess I'll give a star rating. How about that? Out of 5 stars, what do I give these inks? The Karkos green and the Karkos black. I guess it's kind of unfair to give one score, because if you're thinking writing versus drawing, obviously you're going to have different scores. So I would say I give the black, for drawing, the black is great. The black, I mean, it's a black ink. Maybe it can be blacker. I don't know how that works with ink. So since I have limited experience, I will give the Karkos black fountain pen ink a 4 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5, because I can't give 5 out of 5 because I haven't used extremely expensive, high quality black ink. And maybe that ink is way blacker and darker than this black ink. So I have to give it a 4 out of 5 instead of a 5 out of 5 for writing, 5 out of 5. It's black ink. It's going to be dark. You're going to be able to read it if you're writing. That's it. It's black. It's pretty standard. It's black ink. So writing, 5 out of 5. Green, drawing. Maybe a 1.5 stars because of the color alone. I like the color. It's bright. It looks nice until you start to color in dark areas. I mean, I guess you're not coloring in dark area. You're just coloring in an area, but that's where it falls off. And it just falls off so far for me. I just can't, I won't do another drawing with this ink probably because I don't like how it looks. It doesn't yield the kind of crisp results that I want when I do an ink drawing. For writing, though, I guess I haven't written with it in my Noodler's Ahab, but I can just envision the type of words and letters that it writes, and I'm looking forward to writing with it already. So, I don't know if I can give it a score for writing, because I haven't written with it, but we'll do a predicted score for writing with the Karkos Green Fountain Pen ink. I'll go with a 4.5, to be honest, because I think it's going to look great with the Noodler's Ahab, a writing pen. I think it's going to look great. That's a predicted score, not finalized. If I have a different opinion, maybe I'll make an update video saying my new score for the Karkos Green ink for writing. So that is the video. Karkos Green, Karkos Black inks. I do recommend them from Wish. If you just want some cheap inks, maybe you want to try a color. They have a bunch of colors. Try a color. Maybe you want a red ink just for fun. Why not try it out with a cheap ink? Maybe after that you want to buy an expensive ink, There's no shame in using Wish to your advantage. It's cheap, but it works. It's ink. It's fountain pen ink. It works good in a fountain pen, and that's ultimately what you want in your ink. I mean, do the brands really matter that much? I'm not sure after this. But that is the end of the video. I want to thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment. Maybe you have an opinion on these inks. I don't know. I'm open to any commentary. So, thank you for watching. See you in my next video.